Hi everybody, welcome to GTCoding. In this tutorial series, we have been designing this homepage using Figma, and this is our progress as of now. We have designed the desktop and the tablet versions. Now in this video, we will design the smartphone version. So let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is create a frame. So let's go over here to frame, and let's click over here, and let's change the frame preset. So let's click on frame, and let's choose a preset from here. Let's choose iPhone 11 Pro, and now let's change the name of this frame to smartphone. And just like we did with the tablet version, let's go ahead and copy these sections over here, and we'll make changes and add them inside our frame. So first of all, let's copy this header over here. So we can just press Option, or you can press Alt on Windows and drag it over here. Right now we need to make the changes. So the first thing we will do is decrease the width. So here, if you go to the smartphone frame, here we can see we have a width of 375 pixels. So let's change the width of this. So let's double click over here and select this rectangle, and let's change the width to 375, and let's also decrease the height a little bit. And now let's bring this element inside our header, and we'll also decrease the font size. So let's decrease the font size to, let's try 32 pixels, and I think that looks alright. Let's also bring these elements down a little bit, and let's select this and bring it down. And now we can decrease the height. Now here we will have a padding of 32 pixels. So right now it is 10 pixels. So let's move it to the right. And let's also add the padding on the right. So let's select this rectangle, and let's decrease the width, and we will have a padding of 32. And let's also move these elements to the right a little bit. So from the left we will have a padding of, let's try 24 pixels. Right now let's focus on the menu bar. Now even for the menu bar we will have a padding of 32 pixels. So let's move it to the left, and let's also move it to the top a little bit. So let's have a padding of 16 pixels from the top, and we'll also decrease the height of this menu bar. So let's double click over here and select this rectangle, and right now the height is 80 pixels. So let's change this to 60, and now let's move this logo to the center, and from the left we will have a padding of 24 pixels. Now in the smartphone version we don't want to display these menu items, so let's select this and let's delete it, and let's also decrease the width of this rectangle. And from the right we will have a padding of 32. Right now here on the right we need to have the menu icon. So let's create a menu icon. So I'll just select the rectangle, and let's create a rectangle over here, and we'll set the width to, let's try 20, and we'll set the height to 3, and we'll also add a border radius of 3. Right now let's duplicate this. So let's press Command D and bring it down, and we'll have a gap of, let's try 5 pixels, and I think that looks alright. So let's select both of these, and let's group it. Let's press Command G, and let's name it menu icon, and let's bring this inside the header. So I'll just drag it and drop it over here inside the header, and let's also center align this. So I'll just drag it over here, and from the right we will have a padding of 24 pixels, and I think we need to bring this menu icon inside the menu bar. So let's drag it and drop it over here. Right, that's it with the menu bar. Now let's drag this over here inside our frame. So this is how it looks right now. Now the next thing we need to have is this section over here, topic section. So let's duplicate it, and first of all let's increase the height of this frame. So just select this frame and increase the height, and let's bring this over here. Now for the mobile version we don't want to display this image, so let's delete it, and we'll also have to change the heading. So let's double click over here, and let's change the heading type to smartphone. Now from the top we will have a padding of 60 pixels, and let's bring all of these to the top as well, and let's select all of this, and let's have a padding from the left of 32 pixels. Right now let's decrease the width of this rectangle and let's set it to 375. And let's also bring this element over here, and let's also decrease the width of this heading. Let's bring this up a little bit, and from the bottom we will have a padding of 60 pixels. So let's decrease the height of this rectangle. We can just press Shift and Command and press the up arrow. Right now we have a padding of 60 pixels at the bottom. I think we can bring this over here to the right. Right now let's drag and drop this inside our frame. And let's bring this up a little bit. So that's it with the topic section. Now let's bring the next section, which is the info section. So let's duplicate it over here. And first of all, let's select the rectangle and let's change the width to 375. And let's change the height. Now we will place these elements one below the other. So I just select this. And from the left we will have a padding of 32. And from the top we will have a padding of 60. And let's just bring this over here to the center. And let's bring this also over here in the center. And we will have a gap of 80 pixels. Right now let's decrease the height of this. And we will have a padding of 60 pixels from the bottom. I think we can bring these up a little bit. Now let's decrease the height of this rectangle. Right, that's it with the info section. Now let's bring this over here inside our frame. And let's just move it up. Right, now the next section is the block section. So let's duplicate it over here. And for the block section, we need to have all these block posts one below the other. Now first of all, let's select the rectangle. And let's set the width to 375. And let's also change the heading to smartphone light. And we'll also set the padding. So from the top we need to have a padding of 60. And from the left we need to have a padding of 32. And let's also decrease the width. And from the right we will have a padding of 32. Right now let's bring this over here to the left. And from the top we will have a gap of, let's try 40 pixels. And even on the right we will have a padding of 32 pixels. Right now let's bring the next block post. So I'll just increase the height. And let's bring this over here. And let's decrease the width. And let's do the same for this block post. And let's decrease the width. I think we can decrease the spacing between these elements. So let's select all of these. And here we can see we have this indication which says 40. So let's drag it and let's set it to 30. So now we can see we have a gap of 30 pixels for all these block posts. Right now let's bring this button over here. And let's set it over here on the right. Right now let's decrease the height of this rectangle. And we will have a padding of 60 pixels from the bottom. Right now let's add this inside our frame. So let's drag it over here and bring it to the top. Right now the next section is the testimonial section. So let's duplicate it and bring it over here. And let's increase the height of this rectangle. And first of all, let's change the heading. So let's select it and change this to smartphone. And let's bring both of these to the bottom. And now we need to have this image on the top, and then we need to have the name and then the review. So let's double click over here and let's select these two elements and let's drag them over here. And we will center align all of this. So first of all, let's decrease the width of our rectangle. So let's select this and let's decrease the width to 375. And let's also set the padding for the heading. So from the top we need to have a padding of 60 pixels, and from the left we need to have a padding of 32. And let's also decrease the width. Right now let's bring this over here to the top, and we will have a gap of 40 pixels. Right now let's select all these elements and let's click on this button to align everything to the center, and let's bring everything to the center. Right, let's do the same for the other testimonials as well. So let's double click on this image, let's bring it over here, and we'll have a gap of 50 pixels, or let's try 60 pixels, and let's bring these elements over here, and let's bring this review to the center, and here also we will set a padding of 32 pixels, and let's decrease the width, and let's set it to 32 from the right side, and we'll also text align this. So let's press on this button called text align center. Right, now let's work with the third testimonial, and let's double click and bring this over here, and let's bring this heading over here, and let's bring this review to the center. Right, that's it with the testimonial section. Now let's decrease the height of this, and let's set a padding of 60 pixels to the bottom. Right, now let's bring this over here inside our frame. Now the last thing we need to add is this footer, so let's drag it over here, and for the footer we need to have all these elements one below the other. So let's double click on this rectangle, and let's increase the height, and let's bring these elements to the left. First of all, let's bring this text to the bottom, and let's bring these elements to the left, and let's also set the width of this to 375, and we will have a gap of 40 pixels, and let's also bring this element over here. And now let's select all of this, and let's move everything to the left so that we have a padding of 32 pixels from the left. Right, now let's decrease the height, and from the top we have a padding of 50. So let's decrease the height, and from the bottom we will have a padding of 50. Right, that's it with the footer. Now let's go ahead and drag this over here inside our frame, and let's decrease the height of this frame. So let's press Command and click over here, and let's decrease the height. And that's basically it with the smartphone version. So this is how it looks. Here we have the header, then we have the topics section, we have the info section, and then we have the latest posts, and then we have the testimonials, and then the footer. So with that we have completed designing the smartphone version. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.